My first practical test was horrific. It was horrific. So as soon as we started walking out, I just burst into tears. I forgot what I was gonna say. Woo! I don't know what I'm saying. Hello and welcome to today's video. It's a fun one. 8 years in the making that I can finally talk about without crying. If you're welcome. If you're welcome. If you're new, it's going so well. If you're new, welcome to you and thanks for clicking on my video. So today I'm going to tell the story, or stories I should say, of my multiple attempts, that's a hard word to say, of my multiple attempts to get my license, my driver's license. Olivia Rodrigo makes it seem so effortless, but it's really not. Okay, what are the odds? I did a Google and this is the headline that came up. Can you believe it? And before I get started, it would mean a lot if you could hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, and give it a thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoy. It actually goes a really long way in algorithms and all of that, and my goal of reaching 100 subscribers by the end of October, which is my birthday. Anyway, I won't drone on. Here's the gist. As you can see from the title of this video, I failed 4 different driving tests. So the first one I failed was when I went for my L's, and I think it's a long time now ago. How long ago is it? Over 10 years. Holy crap. That was the first test I failed. It was just a computer test, so nothing like practical, but I failed it. I found a way. I think I overthink those things. Even though I studied up and did practice tests, I just got nervous, and I've never been good with doing tests and things like that. So it just wasn't the ideal environment for my success. Then we come to the next test I failed, which was in Australia, when you turn 18 is when you can do some tests and get your P's. I think it's called probation. Is it stand for probational license? Yeah, that makes sense. I should say the learner's permit you get at 16. So it varies between countries, obviously. So here I am, 18. So excited to get my P's so I can actually drive on my own, not with an adult. And for this test, again, there's a computer test and then a practical test. So I went in to take this computer test, and again, I just really overthought it. It's like, I know they're not trying to trip you up, but my brain tells me they are. So I might like have a natural reaction to a question and then go, you know what, actually, I'm not sure. I don't know. You know how it goes if you're an overthinker. So alas, I failed. I actually might have failed another one after this, but I can't remember. Then it came time, finally, I passed the computer test. It was time to do my practical P's test. I am highly nervous. I still remember that, and this was like nearly 8 years ago. I had done lots of preparation. I had done some sessions with like a driving school where they come and pick you up and you get their instruction and everything. They were pretty confident in me. And let me just say, my sister, I'm the youngest of 3, my sister got hers first time. My brother got his second time. You can see where this is going. My first practical test was horrific. It was horrific. So how it works is you drive to the location, drive to like the center, like here it's called Vic Roads because it's Victoria Roads. And then the first part of the test is that they go through all of your buttons and like windscreen wipers. You have to know all of the controls basically of the car. Easy. So I have my instructor come out. She gets me to show her all the things that I know, and how should I tell this part? So I'm sitting in the driver's seat doing all of the buttons. It's going really well. I feel good. Then that's all good. It all checks out. She comes and sits in the passenger seat. She then instructs me to move out. I think she said proceed, like move out of the car park, something like that. So I take my handbrake off, I put the gear into drive instead of park because I've reverse parked in, so I'm good to go. And I basically start to push the, what's the pedals? This explains a lot. So there's the brake and the gas, obviously. Duh, that's it. I press the gas, you know, trying to move, and the car doesn't move. Like, the car does not move. I'm starting to kind of, you know, freak out a little bit. I'm trying to stay calm, but I'm really like, what the heck is happening? Why did the car choose today, this moment, to fail me? Like, to just break down. So I'm so confused. I'm like stressing. I like, you know, change it back, the gear back, to like see if that'll work, make sure the handbrake's off, everything's fine. I don't understand what's happening. The steering wheel's like locked. So that's kind of what was happening. The steering wheel was locked and I wasn't going anywhere. At this point, the instructor, they are so cold. Let me just say that. They are so cold. It's so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary, honestly. It made the whole experience worse. So much worse. So they're not saying a word because apparently they can only talk to give you instructions on, you know, go this way, turn left, whatever. So they're not saying anything. I'm kind of like, oh, I'm really sorry. I don't know what's going on. It felt like an eternity. It felt like an eternity. And oh, I was trying not to cry, honestly. I was so shattered. But I could not get the car to work. And after what felt like, yeah, forever, the instructor finally just says, put the car back into park, turn the car off, and I'll meet you inside. Like, the test is over. I was heartbroken. I was devastated. So, I mean, I'm still a bit confused. I don't know when it clicked, but here's what happened. During the initial checks and like all the button and everything test, she had instructed me to turn the car, what's it called? Like not the engine on, but like the battery. So the battery's kind of on. Does that make sense? Is that what it is? So like half kind of turned, like the keys have been turned. So in my head, because I was nervous, everything, you know, I forgot that the car wasn't like on. So I'd been trying to drive and the engine wasn't on. Engine wasn't on. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Honestly though, I'll finish the story in a second, but how cruel that they couldn't just tell me, you know what, because they specifically had said, like, she didn't say, you know, oh, you can turn the car on now, the engine on, and move out. She just had chosen words so that it was like, move out. It was like they were trying to she was trying to trap me. But how cruel, how mean that they couldn't just say to little 18-year-old me, it's the engine, like, you need to turn it fully on. Like, am I really a danger to other people if I can't get out of a car park? If I can't turn the car on, am I a danger to people, to society? Anyway, this story gets even better. That was the awful experience I had my first time. And you know, so I met her inside. She basically told me she couldn't pass me, duh. I was gonna have to rebook, whatever it was. I don't even know what she said. I was just trying not to cry so badly. And then my mum was obviously there waiting for me and she was like a bit confused as to what happened. But as soon as we started walking out, I just burst into tears. I was just mortified. Like, I was so embarrassed. I'd worked really hard to like practice and like put in all this work. And I feel like I'm gonna cry now. Why am I so emotional? But honestly, yeah, devastating. It just rocked me. Like, it was an awful experience. Just wait. So I get the courage to rebook my second test. This time I have someone who's a little more, like, they made me feel a bit more at ease. So that was really nice. I think it was a man, I can't remember, I think it was. I thought I did pretty well. By the time the test was over, I got through the test this time. I got out of the car park this time. Success. Looks different for everyone. I went back in, parked after the test, went back inside, and they basically talked me through kind of how I went. Well, they said, unfortunately, can't pass you today. All I can remember is because it was of one thing. It was just one call that I made, which I don't really understand. I feel like there's a certain point you have to get to, like, you know, I feel like you need to get, but it was like one thing. That's all they told me. I did everything else right. But there was one situation where I was giving way. I was in like a side, just a small side street, but I was giving way, stopped to give way because cars could come from the other, I don't know. But there was like a bend, so you couldn't really see that far out. But there was enough that I knew if I went, like, I would be fine. So anyway, I'd waited, didn't see anyone, moved, and as soon as I started moving, someone came, but I just kept going because I was like already driving off. So anyway, that was the decision I made. Apparently it was not right and it cost me the whole thing. So that was a bit unfortunate, but at this point, you know, I think I had another cry, and got home and my brother laughed at me again. So supportive. So that's what happened there. But at this point I was just honestly so determined to get it done. I was like, I don't even care anymore. I just need to get this freaking test done. Like, I need to pass. Yeah, I was in the middle of like a performance season of these shows, this show I was in, and it was not close, like it wasn't super close to home or anything. And so my mum was having to drive me. So I was determined to like get myself there and not have to get my mum to drive me and pick me up late. Okay. Here we go. So number 3, test number 3, best day of my life. And this is hilarious. This is just hilarious. This time around, for some reason, my mum couldn't make the appointment time, so my dad drove me and took me there. We kind of, you kind of check in before, like you tell them you're there and everything. Your instructor comes out to meet you or whatever. And guess who it was? It was the first lady. It was the first lady I had. That sounds like I was talking about the president. That's the president's wife, first lady. No. It was the first woman, the first instructor I had had on that awful, awful day. I could not believe it. I was like, no. I was so embarrassed. I was like praying she did not recognize me. But let's be honest, she probably had my file there and she was like, woof, she's already done another one after me. Buckle up. Anyway, mortified. But I was gonna get it done. I did all those checks. Everything good went well. Did the test. I was super careful. Took my time. You know, just did everything right that I could. And obviously I passed that one. But I remember like my dad's very talkative and he likes chatting with strangers and making new friends. Anyway, my dad was like talking to her inside. So I was like, that's right, Dad, like butter her up, butter her up. Yeah, she told me I passed. I breathed like the biggest sigh of relief of my life. And they immediately take your photos. So I just said to the lady who was taking the photo, I was like, can I smile? Because I was just so excited. I was just so happy that it was over. Not even the fact that I got it, just the fact that I was over. I didn't have to do another test. I was like, thank God it's over. Like, thank you. Anyway, so that's my story. Stories. But yeah, anyway, I hope that didn't scare you if you're someone going for a test soon. Stay safe, kids. And thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Bye. I failed my driver's license last week. And the next week, and the next week, and the next.